Hello, everybody. So, today we're going to be talking about the disappearance and murder of Angela Ford from 1999. This case is incredibly heartbreaking, but it's also interesting, for lack of a better word, because it's believed that her case is connected to that of a serial killer and the very many murders of women connected to the serial killer. And we're going to get into, obviously, the details of it, of why it's believed that. But this case is going to infuriate you. It's going to break your heart. It is so incredibly sad. And it's important that we talk about this. And you're going to see why. But I want to say before we get into this, all the links that I used for research will be down below, like always, as well as a link to a case suggestions form if you have any case that you would like me to talk about. But also, I could find like one photo of Angela, and that is it. There were other photos of women believed to be connected to the serial killer, and as we go throughout the video, those photos will be up as well. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, and let's go ahead and get into this. Angela was a 32-year-old mom of two at the time of her disappearance and murder in 1999. She had a happy spirit, and her children remember her fondly, and they are advocates today for justice for her. And this is actually a quote from her daughter Kiana. And Kiana says, "We would get together on Sundays and go to my great aunt's house and have dinner after church. Those are some of the best memories of her." End quote. So one day in 1999, Angela left her house to pick up the report cards at her children's school. They asked to go with her, but she said that she would be right back, and she told them that she loved them. It's unknown if she ever made it to the school or what time of day she left home. This was the last time her children would see her. Angela would not come back. She went missing for several days before, unfortunately, she was found in an abandoned building less than 2 miles from her home. She had been sexually assaulted, she had been beaten, and she had been strangled. And she had also been left for dead, but she still clung to life. Angela had severe blunt force trauma and was declared brain dead. Because of this, police were never able to interview her about her attack. Despite this, DNA was obtained. She would remain in a coma for a year and a half before she would unfortunately and sadly pass away on January 4th, 2001 at Cook County Hospital. And another quote from Kiana, she says, "I just couldn't believe, someone would do this to her." End quote. Angela is one of dozens of murdered women in Chicago whose cases are unsolved. It's believed that she and several of these women with undeniable similarities are victims of one or more possible serial killers in Chicago over the last couple decades. So it could be even more than one person who's doing this to women. And we're going to get into these similarities. So these women are strangled, and most victims are black women found in abandoned lots or buildings. While they were all strangled, some were set on fire or even dismembered. Unfortunately, little is actually known about these women or even their cases. So, Westside Reverend Robin Hood is on a mission to get answers for the victim's family. Reverend Hood works tirelessly to find answers from Chicago Police Department. And we actually have a quote from Reverend Hood, and they say, "In Chicago, in places like Chicago, the police department says don't say serial killer, because you might scare somebody, but we should want to scare somebody." End quote. Some of the cases go back nearly 30 years, and the questions are usually the same. Are they an alcoholic? Are they a drug addict? Are they a prostitute? And Reverend Hood says it's the most painful and hurtful thing that anybody could feel when their loved one is missing. Can you imagine your loved one is missing? They are found deceased, and the police are asking you, well, are they an alcoholic? Are they a drug addict? Are they a prostitute? As if that somehow makes it okay for what happened to them. Because I think it's pretty obvious that police, they like to just dismiss those people. The people that are bad on drugs, they are sex workers, they drink a lot. Those are the kind of people they like to sweep under the rug and they really don't care about. And so it's incredibly disgusting that they would ask these questions. Because even if this is who these people were, it does not make what happened to them okay. And I cannot imagine asking somebody that who has just lost a loved one. So I definitely agree with Reverend Hood. That is so painful and hurtful, and I can't imagine actually having the audacity to ask victims' families that. So here is a quote from Kiana. She says, "Nothing pretty much is being done about it because of the where these ladies come from, the neighborhoods. They feel like black women have no value." End quote. And I agree. I think that is also very obvious. We talked about something similar in my Anitra Washington case. She is the lone survivor of a Grim Sleeper, and for decades, I believe all the way to from the 80s, um, the Los Angeles police, they refused to publicly say that they believe that there was a serial killer, which let the serial killer, the Grim Sleeper, continue doing what he was doing for years. Um, and quite frankly, it's because the victims were black women. And it's very obvious that the police, they don't care. Um, they feel like these are just people that they can just sweep under the rug. And yeah, I absolutely agree with Kiana, and it's disgusting. So, the Chicago Police Department says that the cases remain open, but they can't make the connection among the cases, which I feel like, one, that's a lie. Two, I feel like they're kind of trying to protect themselves by saying, no, the cases are still open. We're still working on them. We just can't make the connection between them. We can't say there's a serial killer because we have like a missing link or something. And I feel like that is a lie. Because in Chicago, you have so many women that are being found strangled, and most of them are black women, and they're being found in abandoned lots, buildings. Um, all of them are strangled, but some of them are set on fire or dismembered. I'm sorry, but that feels like there's a connection, or there's a lot of killers doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird for them to say that they can't make that connection. You're trying to tell me that there's no other evidence at these crime scenes. There's absolutely nothing at all that ties them together. If that's the case, either these killers are extremely good at what they're doing, or the cops are extremely terrible at what they're doing. And if you're in this kind of profession, there's not room for you to be terrible. You need to be good at what your job. You need to give a flying fuck. I know a lot of you don't like when I cuss, but I'm just saying it's absolutely irresponsible for you to not do your job properly in this situation. And that is what I believe is happening here, is that they're simply just not wanting to do their job. Absolutely ridiculous, if you ask me, but let's continue. And to finish this video off, I'm going to finish it off with a quote from Reverend Hood, and they say, "To not answer those crimes and to not put the resources in there is really a situation I would call not getting cooperation from all the resources, and people don't trust you when you don't solve the crimes." And yeah, you're not doing anything to make the people want to trust you. You're not solving any crimes. You're kind of, in a way, no, they are in a way, kind of just letting the serial killer or serial killers doing what they're doing because they don't actually care. So they're not making anybody answer for these crimes. They're not trying to put in resources to solve the crimes. And in a way, the police aren't cooperating in finding answers, which is wild because they will get you if you don't cooperate with them. And yet they're doing the exact same thing by not cooperating, and then they expect people to trust them. That is absolutely a no from me. But that is what I have for you on the case of Angela and um, the case of whether or not there may or may not be a serial killer. In my opinion, I definitely think there is. But let me know what you guys think down below. Please be respectful like always, because you never know who is going to come across these videos if it's their loved ones. So just be respectful like I always say. Please be kind. But let me know your thoughts. I'd be really interested to know what you think down below. And if Angela's family or any of these victims' families stumble across this video, I just want to say that I am so sorry that the police are not, in my opinion, doing their job the way they should be doing. And because of that, you don't have answers. And I hope that can change. And I hope you guys get closure soon, because it's disgusting that y'all are being left in the dark like this. But thank you so much for listening to Angela's story. And if there are ever any updates in this case, as well as the other cases, or if they ever say, like, yes, there's a serial killer, I am definitely going to update you guys on that. But for now, this is where I leave you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.